60s child. Hello everybody, in this video we'll be looking at a fantastic toy that's Major Matt Mason. This toy was launched in America in 1966. I don't think it arrived on our shores till 1967, maybe 68. I was certainly 8 years old when I owned one. I don't know how it came to my attention. It could have been through this advert, but I'm not sure.
This is Major Matt Mason, Mattel's Man in Space. Ready for every adventure with all his official equipment. The space station, protected by solar shields. The moon suit, designed for exploration. The space crawler that keeps on going no matter what. Get them together or separately, and share the exciting adventures of Major Matt Mason, Mattel's new Man in...
As I say, I don't know whether I did see that ad, but what I do remember is pleading with Mum and Dad to get me one for my Christmas present. Anyhow, when Christmas finally arrived in 1968, I looked under the Christmas tree. Well, it didn't really look like this. Our tree looked like this. And anyway, the presents were under the tree because it was too small. They were on the settee. But I didn't care because Santa had brought me this, Major Matt Mason and his space sled. I was so excited. There was nothing not cool about this guy. His jetpack enabled him to fly and he even powered his sled. So after putting all the stickers in the right places and fitting his space helmet on, we were ready for all those adventures. Granted, you needed a bit of imagination, but we were never short of that. Now the Major was only a small guy really, he was 6 inches tall approximately. He was modelled off very early prototype spacesuits. He had a hard plastic head, but the rest of his body was moulded rubber on a wire frame. And needless to say, after many times bending his arms and legs, the wire would sometimes snap, leaving him a bit loose to say the least. But that didn't matter. For the time you had him, he was such a cool toy. I mean, take a look at this ad.
Meet Major Matt Mason, Mattel's Man in Space, and the bravest astronaut yet. He lives on the moon. We may all be there soon. And he gets around with a jet. Until Sergeant Storm in his red uniform, Major Matt worked all alone. Now, together, they face the dangers of space and seek to learn the unknown. The machines that they drive seem almost alive as they transport the adventurous pair. The new Astrotrack whips through the black, and Firebolt even goes where they meet Captain Laser, his space gear ablaze with energy stored from the stars. He's a giant, it's true, but a friendly one who spent his boyhood on Mars. An exciting place, the world of space, as all the astronauts know. This world is swell. It's made by Mattel.
As the ad showed, there were other astronauts in the set. There was Sergeant Storm, he was the one in the red suit. There was Doug Davis in the orange suit. And in the blue suit was Jeff Long, who happened to be an African American. Probably put there to appeal to the African American kids in America. And a good move too, although strangely enough, they never included any women. Don't know why. You'd have to ask Mattel. Maybe those days they thought girls wouldn't play with astronauts, I don't know. Sadly for me though, my mum couldn't afford to buy me all the figures, so I had just the Major Matt Mason and his space sled. And how I longed for all the equipment and everything that other kids' dads could buy them, but unfortunately we were a big family and there wasn't much money going around. And I think for that very reason, I appreciated Major Matt Mason more so. So let's have a look at all the equipment I never got to play with. Only kidding. Now when you look at this moon suit, it looks really strange, but it was actually designed off a prototype, and here's a picture of it. Anyhow, here's some of the equipment that was available for him. Out of all the vehicles that were available, this is the one I really loved. Never got to own it, but hey, what the hell. The space bubble was cool. It was like a trailer, and it was dragged around by one of the other vehicles and one of the other astronauts driving the other vehicle. I always wanted that for some reason, but I never got it. There was even a space station. Then they introduced this fella. Oddly enough, he was meant to be a giant. He was huge compared to Major Matt Mason, but it somehow worked. Some collectors say that Captain Laser was actually another toy range and they just merged them together. You'll never know now.
Captain Laser, his space gear ablaze with energy stored from the stars. He's a giant, it's true, but a friendly one who spent his boyhood on Mars.
They even had a friendly alien for Major Matt Mason and his pals to talk to. And there's always got to be a bad guy, and this time it was Scorpio, some kind of ant-looking creature whose eyes lit up. There was also this carry case which it doubled up as a command centre, and it actually spoke, giving you command, well, giving Major Matt Mason command, I suppose.
Ready for blast off. 3, 2, 1. Switch on scanners. Recalibrate instruments for rendezvous and docking maneuvers. Fuel supply almost exhausted, Major. Switch to reserve.
Now ain't that bro, it takes some beating, that does. There was even a Major Matt Mason board game. There was colouring books. There was books to read. And even jigsaws to do. There was this fantastic press-out book. The toy even appeared in an episode of the Double Deckers. The episode was called The Case of the Missing Donut, where Donut has a dream that he's invisible and he goes into the toy shop and starts starting all the toys. By the mid-70s, it was all over for Major Matt Mason. Kids had lost interest in the space race, etc. But it's still very collectible. The trouble is, he was so small, all his accessories were tiny. And because of that, a lot of the little items just disappeared and got lost over the years. So they're going for a fortune on eBay these days and being traded all around the world. Yes, our little spaceman friend is still lovingly cared for by collectors all over the world. In America it seems to be very big as well as the UK. There was even plans at one time to make a 3D movie with Tom Hanks starring as the Major, but I think it's been put on a back burner for now. Anyhow, if you're interested, there's a Facebook page, you can go and have a look at that if you like, and a fabulous little website, all dedicated to Major Matt Mason, loads of info on there. And I'll put the links below the video, so if you fancy it, have a look, it's really interesting. Well, sadly we've come to the end of this little video. Hope you enjoyed it, let me know in the comments, and I'll see you later.